This is Unofficially Official. I'm Starr Miller, and
I'm Mayor Mike.
we want to welcome you to our podcast where we fully intend to educate you on all things local. You had a recent vacancy on a city board, which allowed you to make an appointment, for lack of a better word. So
Yeah,
welcome to the.
It was, you know what? It got a lot more attention than I thought
And
it
also,
would.
I pressed him to discuss this on the podcast because I think it speaks to your bipartisan ability. Wow.
Well, I think in any rural community, if you're going to remain vibrant, you really can't isolate people, because whatever that percentage of people is, you've just taken them out of play. And so
Also, let's be honest. You come from the party that is larger than the party from which this appointee came and from which I come.
That's right. But I think that you need, everybody has to play a part in moving a community forward. And I think that some of the times there are rules and guidelines that the government puts in place that says you have to have so many of this party and so many of this party. So they do put some of those regulations in, like in planning and zoning, stuff like that. But some of the times it's just, like I say, something I say all the time is it's never too late to do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And so
Slap that on a T-shirt.
And what Starr is referring to is the fact that we appointed Stephanie Connolly to the Parks Board. And like I say, around here, quite honestly, I don't know that I really anticipated it being much of a glitch on the radar, but I think it did make an impact when we put it out there on Facebook.
Because she hails as a Democrat.
Well, she hails as a Democrat.
My fellow sister Democrat.
I mean, probably the biggest thing and is the fact that she was the first lady of Indianapolis, and and quite honestly, that's one of the things that was super attractive about her as an appointment, is because, guys, she's seen some crazy, incredible programs.
And inner workings of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so her, maybe she peels off a little piece of a program and says, hey, that could work here. And it works here. And like I say,
every person you appoint or who's participating on these boards, I mean, they're all offering something back to the table. So to have her come from, she obviously is a native of here, but to have come from that situation.
Yeah. And I think probably another thing that became evident is we kind of got into the routine of, we were making an appointment and we didn't really
advertise it.
We didn't.
Okay,
We didn't. We didn't make a big show of it. And then we decided, you know what, we need to make sure that we put those people we appoint out there so that people understand, the movement of what's happening. And so,
and also to kind of commend them. I mean, they're going in service of others in their community.
Yeah. So we anyway, that was one we decided that, you know what, we're going to kind of start doing that again, and we're going to make sure that the people get the credit for the volunteering.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not a big paid
salary. There is no pay.
No compensation.
But it was interesting because we did put it out there, and then you had a few, around here, quite a few people who would say, hey, by the way, I saw where, and I was like, huh. I was probably more amazed by going up to an event for the mayors at the legislative dinner. And when I rode up the escalator at the top, it was the big news. And I was like, I don't know why it's the big news. I mean, but
do you
for
think
me,
so just because of the political party?
I think it has to do with the political party. I think it has to do with the fact that my guess is, to me and to you, she's Stephanie.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yes.
She's Stephanie Connolly-Hogsett. To them, they probably,
of course,
didn't get to make much contact, and all of a sudden they're thinking, and again, this is nothing against anyone. They're thinking, oh my gosh, and we're thinking that's just
a fox in the hen house.
We're just thinking it's just somebody we grew up with. It's somebody we know, and we know the family, and we've so.
And Rushville people are unique in that way. I mean, I just don't think you get that same degree of that anywhere else.
So we appreciate the fact that Stephanie did step forward and she is sworn in. And, she's
Do
been
you
to a
want to
couple
touch on
meetings.
why there was a vacancy? Because people, of course, will want to know that.
Yeah, the vacancy was a real simple one. The school board has a representative on our Parks Board, and the school board started having meetings the same night as our Parks meeting. So that person wasn't able to make it. So they slid Eric Harpering, who is a Parks Board appointment I had made, into the school's position, which opened up a free spot. And And again, the science behind all this and all the crazy calculation is Stephanie was out there saying, I want to get back to the community. I want to get
Sure.
involved. And it was like, she wanted to be on the Parks Board. And she said, yeah, and came in and talked, and, everything, it aligned and it was good. And so there's I think the urban legend of what this administration does is a lot more sinister than I think it really is.
I would have to agree with you.
Well, I mean, we look at, and this is something you don't pay much attention to, but I've always said, I think the salaries of the people we hire should be considerate is, what if one of our employees is a female and she's gotten divorced? Can she live a decent life? It's going to be tight like everybody else's life, but can it be affordable?
Do you really think that? You really implement that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
very
put in
nice.
place whenever and then you started look at our department heads. And so if we had just this last week, we had we do training to try to give our department heads, basically better tools to operate with. And we were doing one on the 7 habits.
Okay.
And in that meeting, when you break out the males and the females in the room, there are 10 females and 8 males, which I don't think anybody would think would happen in a small rural community.
But it's true because he made a chart for me and showed it.
I did, because I had to sit and think whenever she was Starr was talking about female involvement in the administration versus male involvement in the administration.
Well, because I was asking if you thought that was the hang up with people, but obviously it might have been a little bit of both.
No, I think it was more. I think it was much more the political party than it was that. And like I say, she serves on a board.
Might we just add too that on the Parks Board? I mean, I don't know that you're wielding all that much power.
Well, true, and she
but your
immediately.
service is needed and totally appreciated.
And she fits right in,
Yes,
because
yes.
after the first meeting, you know what she told me? Parks need more money, Mayor.
Yeah.
The parks need more money. So
She's a quick study.
yeah. So anyway, like I say, it's just an interesting thing that the parks director is a female.
Okay.
So it's just an evolution of
What
the
were you
process.
saying about the 7 habits? So you started to say that and I interrupted you.
Well, that's how I count it in my mind, because all of our department heads and all our bigger decision makers are invited to those.
Oh, okay.
So I sit at the kind of in one seat, and I was writing down who sat at the different seats, and that gave me the tally.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just one of our we call it Rushville University, which is just us trying to educate our people to give them tools to do
Their job
better job.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more efficiently, I would
Correct.
assume too. We do want to take the time to recognize Stephanie going in service of others in this position on the board, and thank you from the city too,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. So this segment we're going to talk about. The chamber just had their annual, and they went from an annual dinner to an annual lunch,
Okay.
and wanted to talk about some of the, at least a couple of the pieces of recognition that were given that day. Business of the year was Tweety, and that was, I think, well deserved.
deserved, yeah.
They've changed, obviously, their attitude and their
Little known fact about me: I love a hardware store, and I would put Tweety's right up there at the top.
okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Citizen of the Year was the legendary Phil King. And if you don't know Phil is from the Milroy area.
Yes.
Phil used to be quite the pitcher in high school. They called him Blade.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
interesting to know.
Phil married a classmate of mine, which was Shelley King.
Okay.
And they reside out near the bowling alley. But Phil had always worked in Batesville Casket. He was, and I don't know actually technically his title, if he was a plant engineer, if he was a plant manager, but he definitely was in a leadership role there.
For a long while, right?
Long while.
Yes.
I don't know that might not be where he worked from after college all the way till his retirement.
Really?
Uh-huh. And
That's impressive.
yeah. And so he retired here, I'm going to say 4 years ago, but I might be wrong. And when he retired, he got involved in a couple things. One, he got involved in pickleball and
Big pickleball
disc
supporter.
golf.
Okay.
Oh yeah, both of those.
Okay.
And then we nabbed him at one point and brought him on to the Board of Works. And so
Yes.
he's on the city's Board of Works. And Phil is he really is an unbelievable asset to have in a community because he thinks very systematically, very methodically.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say strategically.
Yeah, and I would say strategically. And so he asks questions that you kind of sometimes dread of, oh, shoot, I got to put more thought into that one. But
Which is great. I mean, right? Yeah.
It is. And then he played a role on the foundation board for the community foundation.
Okay.
And
You mean at the start?
No,
Oh,
he just, when he got ready to retire,
Oh,
when he
okay,
got close
okay,
to retirement, he started doing that. And then his big one that I think that he probably got the most recognition for was he joined the Love Community Center board. And he kind of played the role of project rep for the owner. So he was always there making sure that the contractors were doing the things they needed. And since then, and now it's
The point person.
Yeah, so it's
That
been a
no
year.
construction project can go without.
Right. And so he's been out there for a year because the project's 1 year old.
Sure.
And making sure that the warranty items are getting wrapped up and making sure that the systems are in place.
I love people that are built like that because I am not.
Yes. So he has been a crazy, amazing, valuable asset to the community. And I don't know whether we should thank Shelley for letting us borrow Phil or if she's saying get him out of the house. I don't know which it is. But no, he is.
But he really has served our community in a myriad of ways.
Yeah, and I think it's important that people, they'll hear about Phil King, and Phil is crazy amazing. I do say that. But there are a lot of people out there that are giving a lot of time and effort to the community that, you only award one a year. So there's, we've got...
Meaning that there are so many people that could be recognized alongside him.
There are. But like I say, that in no way and ever would I ever mean that to devalue Phil, because he is definitely worth it. But
what an honor. I mean...
Yeah. And
to speak to what you're saying.
I think it's interesting because, like a person like me, I couldn't and I shouldn't get Citizen of the Year because it's my job.
We'll make sure of that.
Thank you. I don't know anybody to vote for anymore. But it's a big thing. And I got it, I think, in 2000, I want to say 2006 is maybe when I was Citizen of the Year. And it is.
I've never been Citizen of the Year. Kyle, have you been Citizen of the Year?
No, not yet.
Well,
Not yet.
and then that's your challenge to step up. But it is. It's different.
It's a huge. I hate to say accomplishment, but really, honestly, it's just recognition of going in service of others. I've said that phrase quite a bit today.
Yeah.
But honestly.
Yeah. No. I like I say it is
because the majority of that service is not. It's not paying.
None of what we've talked about.
It's not self-serving in any capacity.
Yeah. So I mean, and please, I mean, understand that the things you're doing are in addition to the normal life you're leading. So
exactly.
Those are, they say time is your most valuable commodity, and a person like Phil is giving a lot of his time to make that happen.
And constructive time too, right?
Definitely.
Like, he's on the ball. That's awesome. So congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to Phil, and we'll take a little bit of credit for it since he's tied to the city, and we somehow we think that bleeds over to us, so we're happy for him.
I think it does. That wraps up this episode of Unofficially Official. We thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode, you can subscribe to our show on your streaming platform of choice.